Hi everyone, welcome back to the stream here from the 2019 U.S. Open. I'm Tony Leonardo here with Aaron Maroka. We've got a pretty good one here. Again, of course, as always, only quality stuff. It is San Francisco Fury, the defending national champions here in the United States, facing off against Tokyo's HUCK. Not sure what to expect. This is a fifth place game. Fury, of course, disappointed to not make it to semifinals and beyond at this tournament. They did lose a nail-biter to Washington, D.C. Scandal on Universe Point. Dropped them into the fifth place bracket, and that's why we see them here now. Talked to their coach and leader, Carolyn Finney, a little earlier, their captain. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But Aaron, any thoughts you have on this matchup between Fury and HUCK?
We saw yesterday this HUCK team kind of calling their shot by putting their strategy on their jersey, right? Really a fan of aggressive but slightly shaped away shots throughout the course of the games that we saw them yesterday. And an interesting little tidbit about how other teams have been kind of handling Fury throughout the tournament so far. It sounds like Finney has noticed that most teams are kind of putting a last back defender over the top of them, maybe also afraid of that big game. So we might get to see a really exciting kind of fiery HUCK game focused on those deep threats. But, you know, of course, Fury known for a star-studded roster and a lot of history and success. I imagine, just like most of the other teams that we've talked to this weekend, still a little bit in the middle of their season, still a little bit in the middle of the lessons they're learning about themselves. And so I think what we can also expect to see from Fury this game is really intentionally working on the energy part of the game, trying to stay even keel and positive and up on the sideline and being good teammates, because that's one of the takeaways they had from that Scandal game, feeling like they didn't come out right away at the beginning of the game with their best. And I think we'll see a similar thing from HUCK. They're just excited to be here. They're excited to do the best they can. And, you know, we see a lot of good energy from them as well. So that's what I'm excited to see, just that energy, and I think some of that stretching it deep and attacking that deep space.
Here we see HUCK, and there's Coach Maggie saying, the longtime Fury coach, giving a hug to his HUCK friends over there. That is number 32, of course, Julia Fujioka, Ayuma Fujioka, the coach of the Japan national team that Maddie's saying there, who is often a coach of Team USA. So these two know each other, and a little pregame greeting from the two stalwarts, longtime leaders of respective programs in the United States and Japan. A lot of ultimate knowledge between those two, Aaron. Of course, Maddie's saying coached again for Fury in the last time I saw them play a Japanese team, 2010 World's Finals, where they matched up against Uno, saying they're coaching that Fury team. And Uno, great game 17-16, goes to Fury. And one player I do remember, it's still on this roster here, is Lakshmi Narayan. So here we go again. A lot of love here. Maddie saying one last tidbit for him. He will be coaching Team USA 2020 Worlds over in the Netherlands. So again, he is still top of the ranks coaching-wise, at least one of them. Bested yesterday, of course, by Dutchie, Alex Guesquire, coach of Scandal. And Carolyn Finney there in the yellow tank top, injured. We saw her pinky on her throwing hand, torn ligament, so she will not be playing, has not played this tournament, injured pre-tournament. Finney, one of the stars on this team, and a captain who is, I mean, I'll always go back to her game she had for her college team, Santa Barbara, in the finals at College Nationals, I want to say about 5-6 years ago, where she threw 10 goals. It might have even been 11. I would love to get that exact number, and caught the other one. So it was a close game. They win, and all goals accounted for, except for one, when Finney was off the field. So Carolyn Finney will not be on the field today, but that's a little tidbit for her, one of the captains here of this very strong San Francisco Fury squad.
You know, Tony, I know that you have a very deep knowledge of a lot of these teams, and you went through kind of a cycle of prominent coaching staff, especially in this women's division. I'm wondering, just from a maybe personal perspective, do you know kind of the history of club coaches in the women's division, and how many maybe at this tournament or just in your general knowledge bank that I know that you have, how many women's coaches are represented in this women's division versus how many male coaches are represented in this women's division? Do you know that off the top of your head?
Well, the first women's coach that comes to mind outside of Maddie and Dutchie, and I thought you were going to ask like historically, goes to Lou Burris. So I am trying to think of a female head coach in the women's division, and Ariel Jackson coaches Brute Squad. That's another male coach. There's some assistants there, so I got to think about this one a little bit. Gwen Ambler, of course, for Seattle Riot, the veteran from this Fury squad. That's an elite level female coach of a female team. So there's one for you. So again, kind of how we saw in that game we just witnessed here in the 5th place final for the men's, which is both teams come out kind of focused. We saw great action from Tribe and Sub-Zero, and we knew Fury said that they played flat to start that Scandal game and went down early, but this is an unfortunate turn as Megan Liu cannot find that, and it's a turn, and HUCK will pick it up and go the other way.
Yeah, we saw HUCK running that zone against Molly Brown and then finding a way to make their opponent make a mistake. Similar strategy here, it looks like. And then their defensive O-line just very quickly firing. And I think there was a stoppage in the backfield, but it did not affect. And we call this in for an initial break.
Yeah, so Fujioka tracks that down, throws the goal, and the receiver there, was not in that play, in that pick call. So this is a goal and a break to start for HUCK.
We'll see this turnover again, just wide, but that's what the zone wants them to do, right? They want them to throw either over or around, which are just harder throws to control than flat, easy unders.
Here you see Fujioka. Of course, she, the recipient of the handshake and hello from Manny Sang to start this game, as she finds Shimabukuro in the end zone, one of the youngsters for this HUCK team.
Just to loop back on that coaching question, Tony, because we have talked a little bit about inclusion over the course of the weekend. The ratio of male coaches in this women's division to the number of women's coaches in the division, it seems a little off to me. And if you can't remember, and I know there's so much knowledge in your head, if you struggle to think about examples of women coaches in the women's division apart from Gwen Ambler, that's something that I'm interested in maybe the community talking about more. That seems a little bit strange to me.
It is, and to me, I think about Coach Muffet McGraw for the Notre Dame women's basketball team, who is sort of a kind of parallel example. She is one of the elite women's coaches that coaches women's basketball in the college division, facing against a number of male coaches. There's a couple, it's not really a black and white thing. This is a big HUCK going up from Fury. Double coverage from HUCK. Height is there on both sides of this disc. Butterfield comes in and picks it up out of the air.
Oh, Butterfield.
Jeff says, I'll take it.
Yeah, Julia Butterfield, of course, a standout in the college division for Stanford, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Notre Dame.
Come on now.
There you go. I'm so sorry. She
Stanford
moved.
too.
Yeah, she moved to the Bay Area. I saw her last year, I think, on the Mischief roster. So I got her misplaced in my head. I apologize. So, yeah, Notre Dame standout. No, didn't she go to grad school and play one season with Stanford?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Okay. So I'm not insane.
But she was a standout at Notre Dame.
I mean, she's a standout everywhere. Here, she stands out.
Jiff, as we called her at Notre Dame, I have some ties to the Notre Dame program, love for the Notre Dame family, of course. We have a long history, and we really support women's ultimate at Notre Dame. It's a little thing, but one of the notables about Notre Dame is that they share a Twitter account.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Notre Dame Ultimate is just both teams.
Just everyone.
Yeah, so it's pretty great because there's no question about it. It's just like, sometimes they'll put like which team they're referring to, Womb or Rage, in the section, but Otherwise, you know, hey,
Yeah.
we're all together on this.
Yeah.
They're a real family, just like we see Huck here holding hands. Family.
Yeah. Well, that Fury offense on the first point seemed to try to, work it through the zone. There was a big cross-field yardage gain that I think Krieg Howard put up with visionary kind of success. And on that particular offensive point for Fury, another big Huck look. So perfectly willing to huck into and over the Huck zone, but maybe a little bit more exciting than Finney and Sang want over there on the sideline for Fury so far this game.
Nice pull from Opie. Payne had pinned them back, but Hara, number 1 here, great movement from her, and this Huck team seems unfazed by the depth, but this throw could sail to the sideline. She's got to make a play, and Hara looked down and was unaware of where that blue sideline line is, and jumped a little early, so body up there, but it's clear, and an opportunity now for Fury as they move it down the defensive line here from them. San Francisco hucks it deep, and this looks like it could be a shot, and it's a goal. It's in. That's a score from Marika Austin, another burning skirt as she gets on the board for the first break of the game from Fury.
A little bit of discussion happening between Huck and Opie Payne. If I remember correctly, I think Opie is at least conversationally proficient in Japanese, so maybe she'll be a little bit of a point person in some of these matchups for clarification. There was a little bit of contact over here on the mark nearest to our sideline camera during that point, so maybe just a quick check-in occurring, but purely speculation over here and up here in the scaffolding, since we don't have ears down there on the field this game.
Yeah, a little body from Hara on Anna Reed from Carleton, and my mistake for Marika Austin. She was a player for Princess Leia out of Dartmouth. Here the Huck, of course, from Sharon Lynn out of UC Berkeley. Pie Queens. One of my favorite team names and favorite logos is the Pie Queens. I know they're discussing whether they want to keep that name, Queens, Pie Queens. I don't know, Aaron, your thoughts on that? I just think it's a great name. I don't know why. It's weird what names kind of appeal to you, but for years I've loved Pie Queens as a name.
Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting talking point. I think we are going through a little bit of a resurgence of just evaluating our own language. I think there are a lot of ways that we use language in sports and ultimate in general that maybe a lot of us just learned in our formative years and thought were like terminology and the way that you talked about things. And as our world kind of opens up and we see more identities and more things that are falling out of the binary in a really good way, right? Just trying to be respectful and reevaluate some of those language items to make sure, again, that we're being as inclusive as we can be. This clean offense from Huck there, although Fury just maybe an inch or two away from a couple Ds in that point.
Noguchi really found in rhythm throw there from her as she's able to find Oshima in the end zone for the quick hold from Huck here, going sort of a little bit of a wind, downwind, but not too much here. This is just a great throw and a great cut as Oshima set that up nicely. Noguchi,
I'm sorry, again, one of the standout players from that other game that we were able to watch together.
Yeah, I wonder if they're related.
No, they're the same one. They're the same woman. Tony.
Wasn't there a Noguchi on Tribe as well?
Oh. Well, I'll look into that. But Kana Noguchi had a really great game on the live stream yesterday when we commentated that game.
There is a Yanagisawa on both Buzz Bullets and Huck here.
That's fair. Yeah, these Japanese teams often hold their college affiliate, right? So many of the teams coming out of Japan all played together in college, and I'm not sure if it's just like logistical, right? Like that happens to be the closest team to where all those humans kind of live and congregate. But with some of the men's teams, they have a very clear core that is from the same college, and we see kind of a, I'm going to use the term sister team because I can't think of a better phrase right now, but they seem to be at least part of kind of like the YCC groups, right? They feel a little bit more like they're part of the same brand because they share that affiliation with their college team.
Beth Kaler there in the center of your screen. The Oregon product, of course, number 47, being a big presence in the middle of this zone offensive look for Fury as they work it down with quick looks here.
Mad Dog, Anna Nazarov with the disc right now.
Yeah, she's still rocking the scene. That's great to see. Midi Chang here, number 21, to Nazarov. Really brought that UCLA program to prominence. They were kind of nowhere.
Great read on the defensive play there.
Yeah, unfortunate, really threw kind of right into that poach there.
I think that was Nakamura with the D, and here HUCK showing their standard big style. That's a shot. Oh.
Yeah, Fujioka Noshi missed that a little bit. Put that deep for Takamuso.
What's uncharacteristic about that throw is that it was flat and it sat in that space, and maybe more typically we see this HUCK team put more shape and edge on those throws. So I wonder if she just missed the edge, and if she had added that edge into her release point, maybe it would have kind of come back into the receiver's hands.
I like the flat throw there because then your receiver can run under it. So I think she either just mistimed the speed. She needed to either wait a half a beat or kind of take a little off it, but then it might float. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I love flat throws. I'm a fan of flat throws. I just think in
so
terms
you support flat throws.
I support flat throws. I'm pro flat throws. But no, I just because we actually have had such a good opportunity to watch HUCK play. Yeah, I feel like in that Molly Brown game, maybe 99% of their throws were edged. So I was just trying to illuminate for the audience at home that even though that's a throw that we all support, or maybe is typically American, that was just a little bit out of the norm for this team. But here's Fury shooting. Excellent find there, crossfield.
Yeah, Nancy Sun to Bree Khan for the goal there. Trivia question for you. Go ahead and throw this out there, Aaron. Nancy Sun, co-founder of what Ultimate Team?
Well, I overheard you, so that's not fair.
Okay. Well, all right.
I rolled up to that conversation
so
and heard a little bit of an interesting tidbit.
I didn't know you were there. Fine.
So I apologize for being a good listener. That's my fault. Yeah, if you want to, I think we can wait a while before we reveal the answer to the folks listening to the broadcast. It is an interesting. As I won't try to hint at it, or no spoilers, right? But
Nancy Sun and her sister founded, along with some other players out of MIT. I might have given it away.
What are you doing?
There. All right.
What I was going to comment on is just that there are a number of women currently competing at a very high level in the women's division who have kind of bounced around. And, you know, Ultimate is such a cool sport in that manner. You leave home, you play at home on a high-level team. You go to college, you find the next, like, mostly close team that you can play for. Maybe you get a job somewhere else. You show up in the Ultimate scene. You make an impact on another team. And it is really cool to follow that career and watch people as they, you know, adapt to a new culture, become an integral part of a new program, and, you know, how appropriate that Opie Payne just picked up for this defensive O-line. She certainly one of those players who have kind of visited a number of club teams and been such an important part of almost every one of them.
Anna Reed with the run through there. She's looking to throw the score here. From Carlton to Opie Payne, Reed to Payne, Payne looking to hit her back and give her the reward, and she does. Opie Payne finds Anna Reed for bookends. The run through from Anna Reed, and they've got 2 breaks now on HUCK here, looking like the defending champions that they are.
Yeah, Anna Reed played for our local Minneapolis Pop team for a year or two as she was fresh out of Carleton. Kind of similar situation, right? And then found a job and a reason to go to the Bay Area. We've had a couple other transplants from Minneapolis go on to do big things with big name teams. I'm really happy to see her out here. Probably a good opportunity for her to visit with friends and find some of those old teammates who are probably volunteering at the tournament today. So love the Ultimate community and the way you keep those connections for life.
Reed running down there, of course, on the strike, the sort of gunner position when you off the pool there to try to get there. And of course, great pull from Opie Payne, one of the best in the division, although we all know who the best is. And there's no argument there, Elizabeth Mosquera. from Colombia Revolution.
I still will. I'll put it out there in the ether. I know we have a lot of talented folks today in the van here with us, but also just kind of out there independently making highlight videos and putting together other kind of technical reels. I think we are overdue for a,
Side by side,
like
transparency,
pulling type of technical reel. I would love to see. I know there are a number of prominent women X who are really amazing pullers, and as we continue to talk more about the side-by-side tournaments here with the youth club division, I think there are a number of young women in those U20 and U17 divisions who would benefit greatly from a video like that.
Hara finds the space, puts it, but Amel is there. Nice defense from the Philadelphia product. She comes down with it, and Kaderdi Amel. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name.
Awad Al-Karim.
Aha! That was very. I want to try to pronounce it now. Awad Al-Karim.
Yeah.
I could get that.
We'll clarify. She did a great job there.
Awad Al-Karim looked through this middle.
Oh, we're going big again. Well placed, but two receivers looked at each other like, "Are you? Is it for you?"
Yeah, a little too much zip on that from Liu, Megan Liu. Her sister also on this team. Oh, sorry, that's not true. Megan Liu out of Iowa State. I believe that's another woman scorned. Saucy Nancy being the Iowa team, as Huck will bring this back up. So Gio, another put here. They are constantly looking deep. This one reeled in nicely, and it's another shot downfield. Will this work? It should. Great edge on that one and float. Beautiful throw there from Yanagasawa. Finds her target, and that's a hold for Huck on offense as Oshima reels that one in. Love that touch. They are fearless.
This is just a couple of throws back to back, but this D really well done here. I think we're going to see the whole kind of recap here. I think this was gettable, unless I'm just not having any depth perception. It was out the back. But this throw, just clinical, low release point, the right edge, enough float, right? Making the receiver do the work, out to the space. That's a glorious throw right there. Just beautiful.
Love that they just stayed in rhythm after that sort of exciting point, the huck that Awad Al-Karim got. Really unfazed by them. They go right back to the deep shot, and it connects. So, stay with your strengths, even if you don't always get that. And Awad Al-Karim, of course, went to Penn State, although I'm pretty sure she's from the Pata scene.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because you just keep this information in your head. And I'm going to...
You're going to curse me. You should really
Sorry. No, so I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the changes in development in the women's division for club over the last, I don't know, maybe
20 years?
Maybe decade.
30? What do you want?
Well, so Fury, for a while, held that championship and would not give it up to anyone, right? They had a number of back-to-back-to-back championships.
I want to say 5.
Okay. And that's one of these times that I remember as a younger woman being a little bit afraid of Fury. And I mean, that's
well,
right, typical.
You aren't the only one.
Right, exactly. So there was this like identity behind them that, and even just having their name on the jerseys would probably be good, right? Would be good for a couple turnovers a game, right? And I think we've kind of transitioned out of that age of Fury. They are still very good. Right, and that was clean flow from them.
Yeah, Mercer Mead to Julie Butterfield there.
Right.
But go ahead.
No, just still, obviously still a very talented team. They clearly just won the championship last year, but maybe a mark of progress overall for the parity in the division, that the name Fury doesn't necessarily strike fear into the hearts of their opponents anymore. And I think Huck really showing, right, to your point, that they're not afraid to play this team, that the mistakes that they're going to make are their own, not because they're kind of quaking in their boots. And I sincerely mean it as a compliment to the development of the women's division overall, right? I think it used to be that it was Fury and Riot and kind of everybody else, and I am really excited to see that there are more and more teams who are playing in these, universe point games to even advance out of quarterfinals, and that's amazing, and I think that we should all really be thankful, in part, I think, to Fulcrum Media for giving us the coverage of women's ultimate so that we can grow to appreciate it more, and also to inspire a number of these young women, including probably Julia Butterfield, right? Who gets an opportunity to see this kind of ultimate on screen, be inspired, figure out how to get there herself, and then come back as a contributor in the club division later. So good job, all you organizers out there of women's ultimate. We see you. Appreciate what you're doing.
You know, part of the fear that Fury put in players was they had a really sort of grip on a 4-person cup.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay, right? So that's
terrifying.
Exactly. that was it. So they put that on teams, and it was terrifying, and it was hard to counter. Now, there was here. This is going to come back, so let's pause a moment here, as there's a pick call. So they'll send this throw back. So Sarasota was nationals, right?
Yes.
In Florida there for 17 years or so, and that's where Fury really left their mark. Now, they first won in California, and that was sort of a little help from Schwa, if you could believe it or not. Schwa knocked off the 3-time defending champions in quarters that year, in semis. That was Lady Godiva out of Boston, and that allowed Fury to kind of play Schwa in the finals, and Fury wasn't going to lose that one. So they started off strong, and then it was the Cup in Sarasota after that.
Okay. That's good. Those are good Womenx details and history for this division that everyone, I feel like, should know. I love it.
But to continue on, right, it's like now we're talking about a big 5, right? It was Fury and Riot. Now, Brood Squad has kept working, and they win a championship. And who else? Scandal. Scandal wins 2 championships at SEC. That was the first time the East Coast had brought something in that wasn't from Boston in as long as anyone can remember. I think as far as ever. Satori was a DC team that had gone to semis in the women's division, but none of those teams other than Boston-led units had been able to break through. We could go on this for a little bit here. Let's watch HUCK in action here as Hara looks to find her woman in the end zone, and she does. A nice find there from Maiko Hara to Noguchi as they hold on a tightly contested point here. Good defense there, of course, from Fury, but better offense from HUCK.
We saw Fury come down in a bit of a zone look there. Zone sometimes is used as a tactic to try to kind of mitigate or control a HUCK-style offense. So it was an interesting tactical choice there. But HUCK was able to get a lot of yards on that away throw that ended up not coming back. So whatever the stoppage was there, it did not go back to the thrower. And they gained maybe 40 yards in that lane. And then we're able to kind of work it through the middle, through these small spaces. I am noticing from HUCK that many of these break throws, right, that assist was a break throw, are going up over these Fury marks in a bit of kind of that rainbow blade shape. Yeah, and the wind is negligible. It's not a factor at all. So, you know, I want to see Fury maybe try a different defensive adjustment to at least shake HUCK out of their flow, because their flow is so fast and powerful, and a really good balance of those small spaces and those big looks that, you know, I think this is a tighter game, and it's still a tight score, right? But I think it's still a matchup by matchup, foot by foot on the field, really tight game right now, and Fury can't take that for granted.
Coach Fujioka with the disc here. Great to see. 40 years old, Aaron, and pretty good out there. No hesitation from her. And she pulls it down, and Fury will try to work it up with Jessie O'Connor there, number 91, with the disc in her hands. Shorts this one, but no, that's a perfectly thrown pass. The HUCK zone in action here, and Fury looking to move the disc quickly, and they're having some success with that. As Maggie Rudin finds Anna Reed over here on the side. A lot of options for her here. The defense not good enough in the zone right now, as Reed having no problem with Rudin. This one's going to pop in the air, but should be a goal for Midi Chang, and she gets it. And that's a quick hold as they worked speedily through that zone defense.
I appreciate the lateral.
Megan Liu, I apologize. Megan Liu with the disc, with the score.
I appreciate the kind of lateral horizontal movement of that Fury offense. None of those players spending any time looking downfield through the cup of HUCK, but really trying to focus on going around it. All of those players only held on to it for, a second, right? Maybe less. Were able to make the HUCK Cup move the entire 40-yard width of the field and then zigzag back through it. And that's textbook zone offense. Works against most zones, right? That idea that the zone defenders have to work really hard to get to those spaces and that they have to kind of play honest because you could hit any space on the field, and that's what Fury showed them just now.
Looks like a timeout here on the field as both teams will huddle up and take a little bit of a break as they try to decide the next quarter of this game.
Yeah, it's it's still just a 6-4 game. Oh, we see an umbrella. I just said that the wind was not a factor. I swear. So some gusts in Minnesota coming inconsistently. So we'll rescue a brown paper bag and some papers and some umbrellas now. So that's brand new, right? Just in real time. Wind might actually become a factor in a moment. We can start to see the motion on these players' jerseys as well. God, welcome to Minnesota, Tony. We have some interesting weather patterns here.
It seems to be a squall. Now, yesterday we visited the semifinal, and a giant cloud just came by and said, hey, now we're going to throw some lightning down. And so that was a 45-minute lightning delay yesterday, basically out of nowhere. And we're getting some pretty big gusts now. This looks to be advantageous to Fury as they're going to pull with the winds at their backs right now.
We also experienced what I think locals call a sun shower in the early afternoon. Not here in Blaine. I was unable to stay up here. I had a family commitment. But down in St. Paul, there was really a harsh kind of pouring session for not more than about 10 minutes. But the sun was shining, the sky was blue, but it was pouring for about 10 minutes. So I do really like living here for the most part. But you do kind of have to pack for everything and keep a rain jacket in your car because stuff is weird sometimes.
Later in the broadcast, I do want to reference a mistake I made a couple days ago, Aaron, by suggesting or actually definitively saying that a team from Philadelphia in the women's division did not make nationals. That is incorrect. As a big HUCK goes up here, facing the wind, Bethany Kaler will easily knock the disc out of bounds. It was already heading that way anyway. Not the person you want to throw on Kaler. She is magnificent in the deep space.
Well, and that sudden brand new wind is also coming over the right side of that field. So Anna Nazarov, as she picks up here, will be kind of facing a downwind-ish type thing. Still not a very strong wind, but if it's inconsistent, that can sometimes be worse.
Whoa, almost a run through, but that's reeled in, and the big HUCK goes up to Butterfield. Jiff has the space. She makes it look easy as that downwind HUCK sails in perfectly from, I believe Jessie O'Connor sent that. That might have been Megan Liu.
And that's a break for Fury. Way to increase this lead, 7-4. Unfortunate, just, momentary sideline error. But when it's a team like Fury, they are not going to give it back to you.
Well, you got to give a little credit to the wind coming out of nowhere there from the Minnesota skies, saying we'll make this an upwind downwind point real quick here. Butterfield, one of our stars out of the Notre Dame program, of course, moved to the Bay Area, returned. She's a California native from Sacramento. As you see this throw go up here, no chance. Kaler makes sure of that, and the throw there from O'Connor finds Butterfield.
We talked about this a little yesterday about kind of the idea of a destination team, quote unquote, a team in the club division who has a culture that people enjoy. There's that weather update for y'all if you're following along. So the wind was 0 at the beginning of this game, and then 4 maybe
Can it be
sometime in the
minus?
middle.
No, it can't be.
No. So we're plus 4 miles an hour in the course of the last maybe 15 minutes tops.
Like
4 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
30
4 minutes.
seconds. Yeah.
I'm trying to estimate a little bit more generously.
Can we go ahead and tell what the final score of this game will be? We didn't get that gag in last time. So if you're watching, the final score of this game is, as you already know, 15-9.
Oh, yeah. You gotta follow along to keep track
That's
of all
right.
the updates. And we won't tell you what direction though.
Well, obviously,
Neither
we're not
team has
telling you what
9
direction.
yet, so.
Yeah. There's number 9 from
I know.
HUCK. We were being silly in the booth.
We are being silly. But yeah, Fury, another one of these destination teams, right? Clearly have the staying power as a branded club team, have a culture that is really robust and supported, and I think a lot of players, when they kind of strike out into their adult life and decide they want to relocate for a job, put the Bay Area on their list because of the opportunity that they might be able to play Fury.
There's Opie right there, of course. Yeah. A
and I
famous
think
transfer to the Bay Area.
Yeah, I think Molly Brown, also that we talked about, feels like a little bit of a destination team. And certainly some of it is being able to have the option and the ability to play with some of these names, right? Sounds amazing to play with Opie. It sounds amazing to play with Surge. But if they were the only drawing point and there was no culture to support that, right, and no kind of infrastructure on a team to be that kind of destination team, then it wouldn't have the longevity and people wouldn't stick around for more than one season at a time, right?
No, the culture for Fury has been strong since the beginning. You know, Jen Donnelly, one of the co-founders, Sprout, Nicole Beck, an early pioneer of this team, and that's D'd up, swiped out of the air, pawed down by Diana Charrier. As a break opportunity for half, as Awal Karim will hold the disc here and then swing it over to Opie.
HUCK forced to fall into a little bit of a person, but sagging in some lanes to try and interrupt passes, and they are able to kind of jump that throw on a really kind of 10-foot away mark. So I don't know that that disc was ever in. I think the HUCK player is asking for it to come back.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Charrier had a look there, but not able to get enough edge back into the field there and enough float to give her receiver a chance at that one. And Hara will pick it up and look downfield as they are sort of in a bulge amoeba stack. Now they're straightening into a vert. You see it right there. So a vert stack as they set up and look deep right off the bat and then have to drop it under. And let's see what their next move will be. Looking for Fujioka, but can't find her. Back to Hara. Hara will swing it. A nice catch. Dug out there by Sakamoto. Sakamoto looking. Stockout's getting up high. She's going to have to drop it back. Fortunately, she does. She found Ziamani.
Fury defense picking up a little bit of intensity.
A tackle in the middle of the field there. Teams will. They'll talk about this. Could have been a little inadvertent. Hard to say, but both players, and that is Marissa Mead, number 2 from Fury, down with Hara, who's usually back behind. Sorry, not Hara. That is Sakamoto.
Yeah. The
really
Fury
looked like a tackle.
It did. We're going to see that again, or at least the tail end of it.
So it's like, back. Did Sakamoto go into Mead, or did Mead hold her ground when she should have given way to a cut, legit cut? That's sort of the question there.
Yeah.
Like you could see her knee up there. Yeah, she's got to move. That is on Mead. She should move out of the way.
Oh, here's a big shaped throw to cover most of the width of the field.
Hara will put this up. Mead will get a chance. Nicely read by, of course, Sakamoto.
Wow.
Well, that is taken away by Sharon Lynn, and now they're back on with another break opportunity. Awada Karim will put this deep to Opie Payne, who can get up. 2 defenders are there. Opie tips it and catches it on the rebound. Payne heads up play here, unable to make the initial one over the 2 Japanese defenders. Keeps her focus, doesn't give up on the play, and makes a frog dive leap for the catch, for the goal, and the break, and the half for San Francisco Fury.
Notable in that point, of course, I hope people can hear it because we do have a sideline microphone, is just a little bit more of an invigorated sideline from Fury. They started chatter on our near sideline to talk to their defenders a bit more, and were able to help yield a little bit more pressure from all the players on the field. I think that's always something that's important to remember and really hard mentally to keep doing, is just that energy flow, especially on a hot day, especially on the last day of your tournament. Sometimes the sideline has to be the catalyst for whatever energy changes you're making. So really good defense here. I also just want to, I think I heard the sound on this D, right? The very satisfying, right? Like hard catch sound that you can hear on the disc sometime.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I heard that. And, you know, in pure D-line fashion, the whole team gets amped when something like that happens, and we're able to find our favorite receiver downfield on a HUCK look. I think that's a really good kind of statement point for Fury to take half, and I hope that they refuel and rehydrate and come back with that same energy in the second half.
Sato there on defense for HUCK, but Payne comes down with it on the throw from Awalda Kareem. We'll take a break here for half. Come back in a bit. More of this 5th place women's final here at the 2019 U.S. Open for USA Ultimate. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back from half here. The defending national champions, two-time national champions, UC Beth Kaler there, a star out of Oregon. She's going to pull down to the Japanese team, HUCK out of Tokyo. They have won nationals in Japan twice, so kind of heavyweight, 4 times. So battle of some heavyweights here. Fury currently leading 8-4. Not a big surprise here. This is a great team that expected more from this tournament. Thought they might have been into the semis at least. Finals, of course, a destination, but they were knocked off by Scandal as this HUCK from HUCK goes up, but it's too far a turn, and now another opportunity as Jesse O'Connor will pick it up for San Francisco. Will move quickly through the middle. This pass will be overthrown, and let's see, HUCK collects that one as they move back downfield quickly. Hara moving fast with Yamani.
A little bit of unfocused energy from both teams maybe right away here at a half.
Noguchi will look around Yamani now with the disc again, looking for Noguchi. Noguchi will have it. And there's a pick as a player fell down, and that's why we have the open receiver in the backfield there. Noguchi with the disc right now for HUCK. Now, one thing we didn't get clarification on, Aaron, we do know that Japan has mixed national championships coming up soon, but the men's division, as this throw will go to Hara. And Butterfield, Jif looked like she might have hurt her ankle on this, just holding up there from going too hard on the defense, as Manny sang and the rest of us all look on here. Jif, the big pickup this year out of Notre Dame, played a year at Stanford for grad school, and now with Fury, as she looks hurt, not something you want to see.
No, definitely not.
I hope it's just an ankle sprain. I've been there on ankle sprains, and when you just kind of like frustrate your leg when you land on it, kind of funny. So just a stutter step could do it. If it's a low ankle sprain and not a high ankle sprain, you're only looking at maybe a month. High ankle sprain will take you out a couple of months unless you get a really great trainer. So yeah, let's hope for the best for Butterfield as we're seeing her walk off now. So she just holds up there. Yeah, that's a turned ankle.
That is a turned ankle.
Thank goodness that's nothing worse than that. I just hope it's not a high ankle sprain. Butterfield not used to slowing up. That's sort of the irony here. Butterfield known to go big and hard. She is a stalwart out there, and slowing up a little bit might have caught her off guard. So I just want to say, what do we have, 3 months maybe till national? So I don't want to look too far ahead, but I think they're going to get Jif back, as you see the Japanese trainer and women from their team actually over there looking at Butterfield's ankle, and we'll hope for the best for her. Gotta
love those connections that are made. Just a quick note, we are under a heat advisory now. It's level 1. It went into effect a few minutes ago, which means that they're kind of mandatory water breaks. When the first team reaches 4, which already occurred, right? And then the first team that reaches 12, or if the soft cap horn blows, we will have a heat timeout. I know we were kind of experiencing some heat timeouts yesterday, but Tony and I always kind of caught them unaware and were surprised by them. Oh, this appears to be a heat timeout. So today we have a little bit more structure and are expecting that a little bit more in this game.
Well, and that's Nazarov looking around for her teammates as this HUCK zone kind of having great effect, and there is a downfield stoppage of play. Another turned ankle here. So this, of course, being the last game of the tournament, and maybe some tired legs and some tired maneuvering here from players, and leading to some ankle turns. And I believe that's Kristen Johnson there pulling the disc. She will center it back to Maggie Rudin, longtime player here for Fury, to Lou, back to Rudin as they cycle through. Rudin, a strong thrower. She'll zip it upfield. This gets dropped back down, and Rudin again with the disc in the center, moves it quickly. Like this movement from them, Desmond has it. Rudin, Desmond. Heard that combination a lot through the years. Desmond wants a goal for that, but not going to get it. And she'll have to drop it back for Nazarov. She'll find it, and it's dropped. Wow, unexpected there from Fury. They thought they had the goal from Desmond, not called. No observer, of course. And instead, it results in a turnover, and HUCK with the chance.
Desmond, of course, spent last season with DC Space Heater, maybe as a one-off. And as we've mentioned, you know, Fury is a destination team. Looks like Desmond missed the culture. Or maybe her life logistics just worked out this way. Who can be sure?
Well, this year, DC has brought a number of players over from far-flung places. You know, Robin Fenning, of course, is the most notable one from Madison. And we just talked about one of her teammates, Austin Prucha, you said,
yep.
From Indianapolis, was playing with him. There's another player from Milwaukee, now playing with DC Scandal. They have a couple of women from New York City. So they are becoming a draw and have been, and the culture is probably a part of that.
Space Heater competes in the mixed division as well. I know Desmond played a number of Worlds games and World Championship games with a number of the players on Space Heater. But it's good to see her back in a Fury jersey. I'm sure her teammates really enjoy having her come home, kind of.
Yeah, Jenny Fay, Sandy Jorgensen, two of the world's players on that Space Heater team. Pretty good roster from them.
Georgia Boscher.
Yeah, another world's, yeah. That's great action.
Georgia Boscher also spent a number of years on Fury back in the day.
And Heist.
And then,
I think
yes.
she's a co-founder of Heist.
Yes,
maybe.
she moved home and she and Robin started up Heist. I don't remember exactly what year that was off the top of my head. I just remember that Georgia appeared at the Level 2 coaching clinic for USA Ultimate in an effort to kind of get the download on how to start a team and how to do some of those things. She's a really important figure in our community and a good organizer, so she did all the research prep ahead of time.
Fujioka now with the disc. Not sure what that stoppage was. Didn't result in much change. Sometimes that's just part of the sport, all sports really. As HUCK looks to secure this break goal. A break opportunity, I should say. Fujioka with the disc.
She wants a deep look. She's pointing.
Yeah, but the defense is really excellent here. Rudin now guarding number 7 from Japan. That is Takamusu.
A lot of kind of guarding the under from Fury right now, and a fair amount of kind of body jockeying kind of for position in a lot of those spaces right now. Seems really stifling to be down there right now.
Nakamura looking, has to drop it back instead. And that's Sato. Sato's been pretty prolific back in there in the backfield. There's a reset back to Nakamura. She'll shoot for Sato. Sato too far, too high. No call. This will be a turnover as they'll walk it up. Kristen Johnson will walk it back. Another chance to score on offense for San Francisco. An immediate bomb downfield to an open Megan Liu. And a timeout call. So, Aaron, I just want to return quickly while we're sort of on the East Coast at least, to just read a little bit about Green Means Go. This isn't just something just kind of casual, but, you know, we talked about the mixed division and the women's division. And so, you know, I had said that Green Means Go didn't make nationals. They went twice. They had some pretty good games against Scandal in regionals, won a couple games at nationals, and their coach texted me, just wanted to let me know that the players were, of course, disappointed that I was not able to say, hey, this is a nationals team. And part of the reason AMP's success has been so strong is because they are able to get the top women. And what does that mean? Well, it kind of means that you can draw away from the top women's team. And so Green Means Go was attempting to bring that back. Jeff writes that it was hard to compete with AMP poaching players and players moving each year. I was part of those early Peppers, Philly Peppers being the women's team that was pretty good out of Philadelphia, and the men's team Rage. And they were always supported each other and very close. The whole reason I coached Green Means Go was to try to regain the respect and glory for the women's scene in Philadelphia. But it's very difficult here where women's ultimate is not supported. It's a painful subject, and hopefully that one day that will change. Well, why not look at, you know, we'll see, of course, you know, how that progresses, but a parallel example might be Washington, D.C., where they've been able to have a strong women's program. And in fact, in D.C., the women's program the strength of that program has given strength to the men's team as Scandal won those 2 championships, and now to this mixed team, Space Heater, and now even you see the youth getting involved there. So no reason why Philadelphia can't have 3 strong teams. There's enough talent, enough players in that region to draw. So love to see the resurgence of a strong women's team in that Philadelphia area. And one day maybe that will happen. It takes a little bit of time and some patience and some dedication from everyone involved. Quick movement. Rudin, the give and go is not, it's there. So I did not even see her. It was blocked. Midi Chang was blocked by another player there, and that is a hold for Fury on offense.
It's okay if you didn't see her because Cree saw her.
Yeah. I was like, that throw is way off. Oh, no. Okay, there's somebody there.
Yeah, you know, just to circle back quickly to the way divisions work together in metro areas like these, I think for a long time, certainly I can only really speak about the Minnesota scene, right? But there has been maybe, you know, certainly animosity would be a very strong word for it, but just not really an open channel of communication in past years. And I think that that's something that a lot of regions experience. I think mixed and women's ultimate are 2 very different games. I kind of identify as a mixed player, and I think about it differently. And when I play in the women's division, I know that my role is not the same, and I have a preference, right? And I think if teams understand that about individual players and maybe care more about how individual players find belonging or find their people or find the experience that's right for them, then they can get on the same page and really understand that to a certain degree, right, individual players are like the customer audience kind of, and the way that teams form are a little bit of the product that you're selling.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
Just because someone has a brand preference doesn't necessarily mean that they find your entire division to be invalid.
Right.
But I see a lot of area of improvement, and I've talked to a lot of people who just wish that those channels were a little bit more open, a little bit more cooperative through maybe tryout season and the like. So maybe that's the next step for us in Club Ultimate, is to work together better. Wow.
Nice catch there from Sakamoto. That play set up on the HUCK from Hara to Noguchi. Those names we've called often on offense there. Sakamoto gets the reward with a layout grab as they use the downwind to their advantage. Prior to that, pretty close there. Anna Reed, though, bolting downfield and almost getting play there, but love this layout from Sakamoto to collect the score.
That's so difficult to guard that, right? I think the defender was I didn't get her number, but the defender that was in the lane had really great position, right? And the throw kind of went up and over her, and then for it to also have to be a layout, we're talking, that's number 66, Narayan, was right in the right spot, right? But that's just so hard to guard. And then it's not, sometimes we talk about perfect throws being hard to guard. That wasn't even a perfect throw. That was kind of a too far throw, but the receiver made a play in a matter of inches that, you know, if you're playing really good defense in the correct position, I mean, it's still good defense, right?
Shmi, in her 11th year now with Fury, she's credited, I always believe she's the one that really brought Dartmouth women's ultimate to the forefront, because she was one of the first prominent kind of like really stellar players out of Dartmouth College. And then a few years later, there's that core coming in, as we've seen Dartmouth now have some real success on the college level, 2 national championships in the finals this past year. And I give a lot of credit to Shmi for really bringing that program to prominence. Number 66 out there for Fury.
Awesome that she's still playing.
She's good. There's a reason that she's still playing, and that's a reason, as she gets the disc right there, timed that one nicely. She picked that one off the turf, but she was a star back in the day when she was a youngster. So, that's why she's still playing, because she's really good.
Is she affiliated at all with
That's a goal for Shmi.
Mixed Masters team that won Masters?
Cool Biz. That one?
Yeah. She's certainly eligible.
We could we could check on that. Anyone want to tweet at us? There's Lakshmi. Well, she's more than eligible. You don't have to be 30.
We don't need. I don't want to be rude. No, she clearly still super talented and competing at this elite level, doing all the things. I was just curious. I know that's another championship event out here in sanctioned USA Ultimate Play, and I can't off the top of my head remember who won in the other divisions, but I know in the mixed division there was a Bay Area team that won, and I'm just curious about it.
That Bay Area team, Cool Biz, of course, was the roster was parallel to Blackbird.
Oh, okay.
That was most of Blackbird's roster, like 15 players, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
Crossover, Blackbird, and Cool Biz. Bars Lang being the one player that wasn't playing for Blackbird this year, notable on that Cool Biz roster. Shmi could have been on that. We could take a look at that.
Okay. Yeah, I love the small world that I went to high school with Bars and you went to college with Bars.
Technically, I didn't go to college with Bars. That'd be awesome. We did go to the same school.
The same college.
Again, that's the Notre Dame program. So for all you young players watching at home, the great ultimate scene at the University of Notre Dame. It's a family there. They play good ultimate. They have a lot of fun.
Hey, is this a commercial?
It is a commercial. We want to support our program. And, if you end up going there for other reasons, you can still play ultimate. It's a good time and good competition. They're always in the finals of regionals.
That's funny. As a funny little tidbit and segue. Oh, nice D there. Picked off number 20, Khan.
Yeah, Bree Khan there. Good heads up play.
Earlier this weekend when we were watching the AMP game, I was talking a little bit about my college experience at Lafayette College out in Easton, Pennsylvania, and I got a text message from Eileen Murray, who's one of my role models in life. She's amazing, and I really value her opinion, and I'm really glad that we got to be friendly over the last year. But I guess she also went to Lafayette for a year, and so that was a hilarious, weird connection. Oh, a great grab there, hotly contested.
Yeah, Oshima pulls that in, and Noguchi with the throw. Noguchi rocking up the stats here, and that's a nice score from HUCK there as they get the break.
That's nice. It's still a 3-point gap here, but a lot of, and these points are starting to feel a little bit longer, which means that everything is a little bit harder work for both teams, which I think is a good little indicator of how good the ultimate is going on right now, even in the 5th place game. But yeah, so Lafayette College, I figured out this year kind of by accident on social media that they have a women's team now. When I was there, it was a men's team, and I assume that when Eileen was there, it was either a dormant team or also a men's team there. And there was an effort a few years ago by women's players across the country. One of the challenges of playing club is that it's pretty expensive, and so there are efforts all over to get sponsors, and in order to get sponsors, you need to prove that you have a social media following, right?
Okay.
And so there was a spreadsheet put together by some organizers who I'm not going to remember who they are now, but it was kind of suggested that all of the women in the community, which are numerous, should go out and follow all of the women's teams on social media as an effort to boost that. And so I went through and I liked all the Facebook pages, and I follow a bunch of them on Twitter, and it's been really fun. And the silver lining, or the awesome thing that happened, was that I follow Broad City Ultimate, and they did a clinic at Lafayette College for the new women's team, and
That's the Philadelphia women's team.
Yeah,
right?
But I went bananas. I commented on all their social media streams, and I don't know if they're listening to this broadcast. I offered in 3 different social media capabilities to fly out the next time you do a clinic at Lafayette College, and if Eileen Murray also went there for a year, I bet Eileen would join me. I am happy to do that for my alma mater. That would be super fun. Also a commercial.
For Eileen?
For me and Eileen to run a clinic out on the East Coast. I think that would be a lovely opportunity.
Eileen's pretty good at that. Last time I talked to her, she was in Ottawa doing a coaching clinic.
She just knows a lot and is a really good player too. And I have valued getting to know her a great deal. This is a clean and pretty little thing put together by Fury. A little quick movement, zigzag across the field.
Yeah, finding Cree in the end zone there. That was all in rhythm, back and forth across the field, left and right, forehand and backhand as they work it down pretty well there on offense for the hold. I'm trying to look up Cool Biz right now. Roster, here we go. I think Bree, yes. So Bree, just as we were talking about that mixed masters team, number 30 out there, number 20, Bree Con got the defense. And I was like, I think I recognize that name, and she is on that Cool Biz roster. So Bree Con, Marika Austin, who is also here. So, yes, Marika. Okay, we have 2 players. It's really important. 2 players from Fury on that mixed masters team that won nationals so far. Bree and Marika Austin. Borquist we saw earlier for, gosh, I want to say she was playing on Snake Country. Jeff Graham. Rachel Holes we saw earlier on Blackbird. Corey Lee on Blackboard. John Kolb on Blackboard. I can't even say the word anymore.
Blackboard. That's going to be their like beach team name, right? They'll just take Blackbird to one of those beach tournaments and call it Blackboard. I think that'll be a great team name.
Yeah.
Parody account.
So Fury here holding a 4-point advantage in this 5th place game. You know, I forget the number of championships Fury has won. It's gotten to that point. You know, there was a point where they eclipsed the Boston scene. So Godiva had 2 3-peats and 2 others, I want to say. I think they won 8 national championships. So I knew that number pretty well, and I was like, okay, Godiva's the #1 women's team in the history of Ultimate. I was there for a series of their championship wins. And then this Fury squad eclipsed that, and I kind of forgot after that point, like how many more they won, right? So I think they're up to 10, 9 or 10.
Do we need an over-under on 10?
Over-under. You know what? I'm just gonna look.
Just gonna look it up. I'm pretty sure they have it on their website as well, if you need it. We're gonna see HUCK come into the middle of the field on that out-of-bounds pull and start on offense. And it does look like Fury is doing a little bit of straight-up marks and maybe a little bit of sagging in lanes on these handlers. Nice little adjustment to try to reduce the number of HUCKs and make them work it through the middle. Sideline also starting to get a little bit louder, which is what we were hoping for. And that flat mark produces that slightly too far blade look, and Anna Nazarov, of course, Mad Dog, picks it up. Looks like Shmee, Mad Dog, and Mead. We're in the backfield. Mead is trying to sneak deep. Wow, that's a nice little look there. Just coming in a little too hot.
Yeah, laser.
But that was Marika Austin from that roster that we were just
Cool Biz
talking about. Yeah.
Cool Biz is getting a lot of love, so if you, we should get some.
I'm just curious about weird things. I'm so sorry.
Me too.
Here we go, a HUCK from HUCK. Just well placed. That is an interesting, sorry, I say interesting a lot.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. that HUCK player picked up and had no mark for kind of a long period of time, and especially against a team who has promised to HUCK and put it on their jerseys, and that it seems Fury has put flat marks on to mitigate that HUCK. Odd to me to see a thrower on HUCK allowed to pick up without a mark on. That's a big deal.
Oh, gosh. All right. So Godiva won 4 in a row at one point. So they had a 3-peat and a 4-peat. So interspersed are Bay Area teams. Fury, it goes like this. Felix, that was a really fun team, Aaron, in the history of Ultimate. My favorite team.
You have a favorite team?
I have a favorite team. They had because they had the Felix the Cat logo. And I was a youngster, and they showed up at Nationals. They completely rolled everyone, just dominated. And they disbanded the next year. And as I was researching for the book, I wanted to find out more who this team was. Bay Area women's team. They'd never lost a game that year.
Wow.
The closest game they had was I want to say 7 points in the final. At the time, the games were to 17. So I think they won the final over Ozone, 17-10, 17-11. Closest game in the entire stadium. One World, one Nationals. Disappears. They break up. The team is no longer. And I'm like, how does that happen? They're the best team ever. They're undefeated. They never lost a game. So fun story there. You have to look that up. So Felix, and then Godiva, Fury, Godiva, Fury, Riot. Now here we go. Fury, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 championships in a row for Fury. That's all that Sarasota 4-person cup. That makes 8 because of the previous one. Scandal, Brute, Fury, 9, 10 championships for Fury. We're looking at the 10-time winner of the Nationals here in the United States in San Francisco Fury.
Well, Tony,
still
I think
terrifying.
Yeah, still terrifying. I think you have also maybe uncovered a merch opportunity for one of our disc clothing organizations. I bet you would buy a jersey with the Felix logo on it as like vintage gear if it was available.
So they got the rights to use Felix the cat, which is a known cartoon.
Wow, they even went through a legal process to get access. Wow, and then they disbanded after they got it?
They had like a friend that had the rights to it.
That's amazing.
So they had Felix on a Discraft disc, and it said Felix and his bag of tricks. And it was it was just
sorry, that was really funny. That travel, self-called travel for Mel.
Yeah.
She got a little excited.
She heard us talking about Felix and the marketing opportunity. Yeah, I don't know how to get the rights again for Felix, but that'd be cool. I would buy that disc, absolutely. I had one, and from '94 Nationals, and I was not able to keep hold of it. I'm not sure where it went. Ooh. Inside look, nice throw there from Yelena Gorlin. She zips it through the middle for the score.
So Fury up 12-8. HUCK, of course, has shown us a lot of potential. Sorry,
it's funny.
That's gonna be a GIF soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope so.
I hope so. It's a great one.
Should I tell Ian, our producer, to make that a GIF?
I don't know. We can wait. Oh man. But yeah. So HUCK, I think maybe just not firing on all cylinders right now. It's the end of the day of a 3-day tournament. You're a traveling team.
No, they're focused here.
They're very focused, but there's something going on that's not quite clicking. Unfortunately, on defense right now, we're in a do or die situation. There's going to be a clock implication soon. If you want a chance at this 5th place final, we need to see a couple breaks coming soon. Otherwise, here's the heat timeout. First team that got to 12 is the ruling there again. So we're taking a heat timeout. But yeah, I'm not sure HUCK is aware that they are allowed to take a heat timeout right now. I hope that they understand.
There's a shot of Julia Butterfield with the ice on her ankle as her teammates come to get some drinks out of the cooler there. So hope that the ice and Shmi giving her a little encouragement there for Butterfield. Hope that sprain again is a low ankle sprain and not too much more worse than that. Keep that ice on, keep the pressure on as her teammates keep coming to the cooler. That's Frisbee life for you sometimes. 10-time champion, and you still got to move your foot off your injured ankle off the cooler when teammates need a drink.
It's true. The heat advisory just at a level 1 today. The temperature a little lower than the past 2 days at this tournament. The humidity kind of hanging out in the middle. It feels pretty nice right now, but heat advisory is all about the index. So we must get at some sort of level. I think also the rules for youth are maybe a little bit more forgiving than the rules for adult. And since most of this tournament right now is the youth players into bracket play, I think just a little bit more sensitivity there to the player safety. On a large complex like this, even though shade tents are provided for every field, that's like premium space, and there's not a lot of it. But yeah, I think I think the other thing to note here, right, is just a reminder that our larger community, as teams are finishing up their games for the tournament, are finding their way to support each other. So this is a shot of the Revolver team who has come to spectate the Fury game. I'm not sure how close those teams are.
Malika Anderson, this is a breakthrough for women's coaching. Notably, in the center of your screen here, we just saw the new head coach for that San Francisco men's Revolver team, Malika. I don't know if it's Malika or Malika Anderson. So we see some broadening opportunities and inclusion there on the men's side.
Yeah, really happy to see that. I know a number of women in the community were also really pleased to see kind of, it sounds like there was a matchup between Atlanta and...
Oh, with Miranda.
Yeah, with Miranda. And so, you know, Miranda, of course, one of these, like, is she already in the Hall of Fame? Or she's just inevitably going to be in the Hall of Fame?
We did want to have the question of who here is playing that's in the Hall of Fame as a trivia. We'll just say the answer, of course, is Dominique Fontenette playing with Riot. We saw her in semifinals yesterday. Miranda Roth Knowles is not yet in the Hall of Fame, but yeah, that vote will be coming probably pretty soon.
Yeah, that's inevitable. But of course, you know, a really powerful moment for two women of men's club teams to face off against each other and be able to have that moment of recognition and acknowledgement.
Coach Murray is another
cool.
one.
Oh, yeah.
For a long time, she coached the men's team, Garden State Ultimate. And
yeah.
And also in some other leagues as a men's coach. And then this year coached the Premier Ultimate League team, New York Grid, like my home team.
Yeah. Yeah,
Carolyn Finney walking off the field.
So I don't know if they do this anymore because, of course, we have live stream capability and we have streaming services and all of that, but they used to put out a DVD, like compilation of USA Ultimate Nationals. And I bought them a few years when I was like just starting out in college, and I think I have the DVD from like the 2007 Nationals, and it's basically just a Miranda highlight reel.
2007, Fury defeats Riot. Miranda, I think, was on Riot.
No, I think Miranda was on. No, I actually don't know. I'm not even going to say because I don't know.
Pretty sure she was on Riot.
Okay.
If anywhere.
But yeah, it was. So I think that DVD, and it's really hard to navigate through it and find all the clips because it's a DVD, and I don't have a DVD player anymore. It's just sitting on my shelf doing nothing.
I have a lot of those as well.
But yeah, it was a series of Miranda plays that were just ridiculous, and I love that she's translated that into just a powerful coaching component. There is Desmond making her presence known in the handler reset.
Yeah, she says none of that. O'Connor. Give it to Desmond.
We want bookends and only bookends.
So does Cree Howard, and they're going to give this to Maggie Rudin instead, but there's a pick, so this will come back to Megan Liu. Rudin's like, fine.
It did not impact the play.
I'll take it.
That is another break for Fury, going up 13-8.
Maggie Rudin, really seen her a lot over the years. Real stalwart for this team, and again, another veteran. And I just want to go back a little bit. We're going to take a look at Claire Desmond's pretty awesome D in a second here, so we'll see that. But back to the demise. It's a little too early to call that, but let's watch this D from Desmond. And she goes, pow, down low, smacks it away. That's a great example of not catching your Ds. Like, I feel like if you're going to try to catch that, it might tip off your finger. So she makes a very, motion of clearly knocking it down and away. Whereas if you go to the catch motion with your hand, it could spin off your hand and tip up into the air. So it's about the placement of your palm, I feel, sometimes more advantageous to knock it.
Yes, and additionally, you could hurt yourself, right? I've seen a lot of players try to catch a disc thumb down, right? And then your thumb jams into the ground, and especially if it's your throwing hand. That's just like, that's not a risk that anybody needs to take, right? You need that thumb to play ultimate on your throwing hand. So sometimes it's a safety thing too.
So we're not super ultra crazy catcher D people over here.
There's a time and a place for it. I think.
Of course, I'm an offensive player.
Right. No, I mean we live
That's
in.
why I could say that.
We live in nuanced times, right?
Oh,
I don't think it's a. Yeah, I don't think
it
it's.
Doesn't seem like we live in two. Seems kind of black and white, at least politically, currently.
Yeah, the human brain likes binaries a lot. I hope that we all do the work to get out of those. And one of those is do you catch your D or do you not catch your D 100% of the time? And that's just, sometimes you do. Sometimes it's the right move. Sometimes you don't. And if you don't know the difference, or you're 16 years old, or you're a brand new thrower on a team who's playing deep in the zone and can't throw upwind, then maybe the answer is no. And if you don't have the mental acuity to decide when you're hopped up on adrenaline in a game, then the answer is no.
Haruma puts us deep for Noguchi. Can you get there?
Wow! But we already have a play of the game, and I've already said that too. So
Noguchi
great.
Finishes it to Sato. And that was awesome from Noguchi. I thought he was going to go down and get, finishes it to Yamane. And we'll have to take a look at that one again.
We will. That's an offensive point. That's a hold. Very exciting. Also very, just influx of energy right here, which is exactly what HUCK needs, right? Sometimes plays like that can shake a team out of whatever calm, low energy place they've been in and maybe hype them up. Oh, we're putting play of the game on this one too. With the
Kana
logo.
Noguchi with the big layout on the right hand there. Enthusiastic Aaron Maraca with me here after the energy drink.
Yep, I finished my energy drink.
On that play.
It was a great play.
It was an amazing play. There's no doubt about it. It was awesome.
I'm so sorry. I'm too excited.
I don't think Noguchi would mind. I'll be honest with you. Kana Noguchi there with Tokyo here. An awesome play from her. And prior to that, an awesome play from Claire Desmond here. At one of the last games, the men's semifinals are playing right now. The mixed finals are the last to come. So winding down here at the U.S. Open on the club adult side of things, the ICC International Club Championships will be finishing up here, and we're going to move on to the Youth Club Championships as they are culminating their season playing Youth Club Ultimate here at the championships. As Fury will get another crack here to get to 14.
Noguchi having a great tournament for this HUCK team.
Yeah,
we were able to cover their matches a lot this weekend, and a lot of impressive players, but Noguchi clearly one of the standouts of this team.
Kristen Johnson and Midi Chang playing catch out there, and there's Beth Kaler. Johnson back to Chang, looking through the middle, and we'll get it to Johnson as she puts it deep over the top of the zone to an open Brie Khan. And Khan collects that score, really all done by the throw there. So a lot of credit to Kristen Johnson for that one. She put that nice touch there. Another Naperville player, played with Callie. I think I remember her in Colorado there as the score collected by Brie Khan from Cool Biz. Now it's like a thing, Cool Biz. And that brings the score to 14 for Fury, 1 point away from finishing off in 5th place. No surprise there. Once they were knocked down into this bracket, they said again they started slow against Scandal. Give them some opportunity. A 50-50 call on Universe Point in that game went to Scandal on the goal line. They converted that for the win, and that sent Scandal on to semis and took Fury down to the 5th place bracket. That loss in quarterfinals, of course. But they are still the defending champions until someone takes it away from them later on this year as Nationals returns to the San Diego area in October.
Do you want to just draw attention to the fact that that beautiful throw was an upwind throw? I know the wind has been in and out on this field today, and maybe people can kind of hear it in those sideline microphones, but just a really well-placed disc normally, right, in kind of a dead wind situation, but that one an upwind throw. So here we'll see Fury on game point for them with Huck in their kind of I trust you offensive line mode, going effectively upwind with a little bit of an intermittent gusty thing to see if they can hold on and keep this game going.
Sakamoto with the disc, looking for Hara. Sakamoto cycling in and out here. Kind of a quirky throw there, but that's going to work to Noguchi. Nice find here on the inside space to Sato. Sato looking for another inside space though. The bid there, no chance. Noguchi keeps her defender off. And another inside space here. They're working up with this throw. The fake there from Haruma. She'll drop it back down for Sato. Sorry, Yamane, and there's a call. Yamane with the disc, number 51 in the center of your screen. Series of inside breaks there on the backhand side to the force side of the field. And we'll talk about this a little bit. But Yamane will bring it back in shortly. No change of position for either team, it looks like. Yamane to the force side. Can't find anyone, has to drop it back. Back to Yamane. Nice fake. Got everyone looking, but no one's there for the other side now. And she'll have to again reset. Whoa.
Nice.
Pressure defense. And no call here. A clean turn here. Megan Liu there on the pressure. And she'll get the disc here right now. That pressure on Sakamoto as they move down to try to win this one. And Desmond will put this deep right away, but it's too far.
A little bit of credit here for number 14, Haruma. She jumped that throw by Desmond, and I don't think it touched her cheek, but it went really close to her face. And certainly for a thrower winding up for a big throw, to see that action coming into your peripheral vision can certainly impact the flight of the disc that comes off. So Huck back on offense with a chance to kind of stay in the game.
A camera person down there, Gabe Port out of the Seattle scene, was also close to that one.
We have had a few close calls right at this camera over the days.
Hara, Sakamoto, these names have been called a short roster, obviously, for Huck. So a lot of these women getting a lot of playing time. Noguchi out there, as always. She's a playmaker. Nice catch there with a left. And this is up to Sato.
Fury is switching the force in the middle of the point. At least I think so. I heard the sideline calling home, home.
Okay, Noguchi will put this. Defender is there, and she'll easily come down with it. The height advantage and the skill there from Cree Howard, not the person you want to test. Jessie O'Connor now with the disc. She'll move it up to Desmond, has Rudin under. Yep. Close one, but Rudin will bomb it downfield for the game if this is caught. It's a D attempt, but it's reeled in by Anna Reed from Carleton, and that will end it here in the 5th place game. The defender, normally we see Anna Reed, the speedster, got a nice block earlier. She's still in rhythm here. No smile from Anna Reed yet. Catches the game winner, and it's just business as usual for Fury as they take this 5th place win. Still waiting for a smile from her, but that's a win for San Francisco as they take this one 15-9.
Hey, she doesn't have to smile if she doesn't want to.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yamane, I believe, right? That's the pronunciation. Yamane. I think that's her. That was her attempted layout D on that one, which made it exciting.
Yeah,
it was pretty close.
Absolutely.
And that path, that defensive effort, made Anna Reed go at that disc and attack it a little bit differently than maybe she was expecting. A really good heads up, kind of aggressive catch from her as well.
Here's the handshake line. These two teams, we want to thank them for the game. Thank USA Ultimate, of course, providing this broadcast for you. We see some teams there in the background. Just great to be out here, Aaron. And I don't know, any other final thoughts for you here in this 5th place game?
You know, I think that there are teams that get a lot of practice in mentally tough situations, and Fury is one of them. And I think with the tests that they've had this weekend, this 5th place game was a really good opportunity for them to figure out kind of what they need to do going forward to earn their way back into the championship game at Nationals. And I think we saw them, to your point, get into a rhythm, right? Be tested a little bit by a different look from HUCK, but ultimately overcome, find open hands, find receivers, make big plays. And, you know, for a team that isn't finishing this tournament where they really wanted to, I think this is the best way possible for them to finish out the day. I think no matter what team you're on, it's always really powerful to win out on Sunday, because it means you made some adjustments and you invested in yourself and your team in order to do the best that you possibly could. You know, HUCK as a visitor to our tournament here, I think had put together a great weekend for themselves. I believe that they broke seed by a ton to be in this game. Seemed like a very happy group of people, and I think when we talked to them, they were here to enjoy themselves and do the best they could. And I think too, they also, you know, can count this as a bit of a success. So really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, Tony. And I know we've got more coverage, but that will do it for the International Club component of the US Open 2019. So we'll see everyone else back on the YCC coverage coming up next.